Hey, well, tonight I'm angry at cancel culture. And the reason that I'm angry at cancel culture is that our culture in the West is a culture of being able to demean and defame all things with an aim to getting a perspective, with an aim to seeing things clearly. And this cancel culture group is so delicate that anything in the past that causes them distress has to be destroyed, has to be written out of history altogether. Now, what caused me to first get agitated about this subject specifically today was the news that an author by the name of Julie Burchell, who had written a book which is called Welcome to the Woke Trials, How #Identity Killed Progressive Politics. This book was due to be published in March by a Hachette imprint called Little Brown. And because she got embroiled in an argument with someone from the Islamic faith, her book has been cancelled. What was the dispute? Well, it's this. Julie Burchell had the audacity to point out to a Muslim that the Prophet Muhammad married a 10-year-old girl and accused him of pedophilia. Now, you may say that times were different then, and I'm sure that they were, and the culture was different. But the fact is that this comment of Julie Burchell's has caused Little Brown to cancel the publication of her book, or at least it's not going to be released under the Little Brown imprint. This is ridiculous. I mean, Little Brown's excuse was that her comments were not defensible from a moral or intellectual standpoint and had, quote, crossed a line with regards to race and religion. Now, it may be indelicate and it may be offensive to a Muslim to have these facts brought out, but they are facts. There's no way that Little Brown can claim that these facts are not true. I believe that they are fairly well documented. But this is an example of how cancel culture is having its way. Everything that offends anybody is removed. It's scrubbed from history. We might as well be living in Stalin Russia. What other examples do I have of this kind of activity today? Well, let's talk about this fellow. This fellow, you can see very sad in this picture. His name is Perez Hilton. And he runs a very popular blogging site, celebrity gossip type site. And he has been just cut off from TikTok. And the reason that he has been cut off from TikTok is that he apparently insulted a 15-year-old TikTok star named Charli D'Amelio, criticized her for dancing at the age of 15. And Charli D'Amelio's fans, who number in the millions, have been outraged and have driven Perez Hilton from TikTok because they've all complained about him. He has been banned for life. Now, you may think this is of no matter. You don't know who Perez Hilton is, and if he's not on TikTok anymore, it doesn't make any difference to you. But the fact is that these channels are responsive to the public baying for blood and are quick to remove people, censor them, and eliminate them completely from public discourse. What else are we talking about? Well, here's San Francisco, and I'm quoting Jonathan Turley, who wrote an article about the San Francisco School Names Advisory Committee, and this committee has recommended that Abraham Lincoln High School no longer be called Abraham Lincoln High School. Not only that, but George Washington High School, Herbert Hoover Middle School, and Paul Revere Kindergarten through 8th grade are going to be suffering similar fates. And the problem is that these actions are not even getting serious discussion. As a matter of fact, the San Francisco School Naming Board considered it really not worthy of discussion. All that somebody had to do was bring up the fact that they felt that Lincoln had mistreated the Indians, and that was sufficient to get Lincoln's name removed from the school. No matter that he was the president while the Union fought against slavery and against secession by the southern states, that's not enough for the culture today. He obviously needed to have done more. And in terms of the Indians, it is true that I think about 40 Indians were executed. The problem is that there was an uprising, if you will, and the Indians killed and raped many settlers. I think there were 400 Indians who were captured, and Lincoln originally said that he would only execute those who had violated, i.e. raped the woman. But it subsequently transpired that he did execute those who had either raped women or killed civilians, but he ended up pardoning something like 370 out of the 400. So it's very hard to look at Lincoln as a cruel man due to these actions. Yet he is being eliminated from history due to this ridiculous woke culture. Do I have any other examples? How about this? This is our current liberal favorite, Governor Cuomo out of New York. Governor Cuomo, who has just banned the Confederate flag from being displayed or sold at public fairgrounds. And the part that bothers me the most is the very first sentence that you see here, which is, Cuomo was well aware that such legislation is likely to fail a First Amendment test, but this did not deter him. What this actually means is that Governor Cuomo knew that what he was doing was illegal. He knows that it is illegal to ban these flags which you may feel are symbols of racism, but which other people feel are symbols of a war that states fought to be independent. Just as the American state fought to be independent of the British state, so the southern states feel that they had an attempt to break free of the Union, which failed. But to denigrate their flag in such a manner and to describe it purely as a symbol of racism is wrong. And yet, the big issue is Governor Cuomo knows that what he is doing is illegal. He knows that it is unconstitutional. I'm going to put this quote up again. He's well aware that such legislation is likely to fail the First Amendment test. That means he is well aware that such legislation is illegal. But this did not deter him. Governor Cuomo is a prime example of today's cancel culture. They don't care. This did not deter him. This did not deter them. These are the phrases that really apply today. This cancel culture is blindly eliminating huge swaths of our history, and they don't seem to care if these people accomplished any good during their lives at all. This cancel culture is a nihilist type of movement. It doesn't promote anything. It just tears down symbols from our past, some of which deserve to be discussed, but certainly none of them deserve to be torn down without discussion, without public agreement. The voice of a vocal minority should not drown out the sensible majority, and in today's cancel culture, all that we hear is the shrill bleating of the minority. Please let's wake up.